I need to show you something. I am growing iceberg lettuce, but I've got to chop it out and it's only been a couple weeks. But I'm going to share that with you to show you how I'm going to do it. Let me go get it. So I'm in my dog kennel. It's been here 2 weeks and a day. This is unbelievable. It is growing so incredibly fast. Let me shut this because we don't want any cabbage moth butterflies getting in here. And I'm going to scoot through here because I made myself a path so I don't have to walk so far. So this way, let's see where I'm going to put it. This is a white dishpan. This is a small one from Walmart. I think it's only 8 quarts. I'm going to have to bring you up on this, but let me explain what I'm doing. I planted this in here 2 weeks ago. They started with tiny little seedling nothings, and now they're massive. Am I going to be successful in growing this? Well, so far so good, because I have a lot to say on this. This lettuce is much softer, more tender than the romaine I'm growing, though I love my romaine. Don't get anything wrong on that. But this is going to be something I think may work to get that little organic head. Do you know Walmart sells them? I read the reviews and people complain. I'm spending $3, $4 on an organic iceberg lettuce that is the size of a softball. You know what? If I can grow dozens of organic lettuce the size of a softball, I will be really happy. Something that big that's organic, you chop up, plant dozens of them. They don't take up any room. But let me show you how this started, and we'll come back when you see me deadhead this now, long before it turns into a head. I know you're thinking, she's crazy. No, I think I've got this. So this is how the lettuce started. But let me tell you, I buy a lot off of eBay, and I have been happy with all the different sellers on eBay to get seeds from. It's cheap, and they're usually very fast. Now, I'm going to apologize right now. This is going to be a full-length movie. I'm going to try to cut down another one and make a short one, but there's so much to talk about when we're planting food for ourselves. So I'm just going to keep it the way it is. Now here, I'm just going to take out a few of these seeds. No matter what, I don't want anywhere near 1,000 lettuce trying to grow. And that, my friends, is way too much. But I'm just going to go ahead and do it because I don't know how many or how fast they're going to grow at the time. This was unbelievable, these seeds. But they just came, they're fresh. I ordered them just weeks ago. And now I'm just putting in some plain old soil. This is just some potting mix out of a bag. Doesn't matter if there's nutrition in there or not. And I'm just pushing them into damp soil in a little flower pot, just a little one. And now I'm just going to keep it well watered. And then you never let seedlings dry out. If you do, you will lose the seedlings because they're very delicate when they're first growing. Even though they're tough, they still need special care when it comes to watering. Now I'm just labeling them, a little painter's tape on a toothpick. And this is what's so amazing. Okay, so here's the seeds. I want you to see something. There they are. Look. Is this amazing? This is the setup. In 2 days, they came up. Yesterday, they came up. I had the little tiny ones coming up, and there's still so many coming up through here. I can't believe in 2 days in this setup. Is that not cool? That's probably the fastest thing I've ever seen. Romaine comes up quick too, but boy, those are eager to grow. And this is just some Korean melon. And look, I planted a seed from a geranium. I've got a baby geranium. Like, I need more geranium, but isn't that not cool? 2 days. Very cool. And I only planted a few. So I have all these to do. We'll see how we do with these. Okay, sit back, get your popcorn. This is a dishpan. It's an 8 quart. I'm going to tell you right now, it's probably a little bit on the small side, but I wanted to see and challenge myself if we can do this. Now I'm using my drill. I got it from Walmart. Doesn't matter. You can get your drill anywhere you want. I absolutely love it. I got 2 of them. And I got these step drill bits, which I love because they can make the hole the size that you want, which is fantastic. So you're not sitting there with a drill or a soldering iron trying to make the holes bigger. You make it to the size you want. Now you can make the holes on your dishpan anywhere you want. If you want it to run down and water something underneath, put it around the middle like I'm doing here. If you want it to run off a shelf, these are Sterlite, by the way. I get these from Walmart, but you could go bigger. Next time I'm going to use a black tote or a black dishpan. They're 18 quarts. These are only 8, but we can do it. The way I'm going to plant it, I know it will work. But the point is, you make the drain holes wherever you want the water to drain off. Now here I'm just using yogurt containers. Now you're probably thinking, why are you not planting directly in the dishpan whatever you want to plant? Because I want the plants to be independent. I want each one to get their own water. And if I decide to make compost tea, like I do all the time, I want to know that each plant is getting compost tea. I can't explain everything to you. All I can say is it works. I have been doing layering for years. This is what it is. You're layering your plants in their own home, vessel, pot, whatever. And they grow better because they get the water. They're not fighting over the water right away. And even though the water will seep into the other plants, when you water a container like this that I just put in there, they get water directly. Now, let me tell you something else here that's very important. That's why I am going to leave it long, because there's so many pointers here that nobody's talking about. I don't know what soil a lot of you are using. Some of you come to me, nothing grew. I will tell you that a lot of the potting mix we're buying now, not all of them, but some of them, I'm going to flat out say it's garbage. That's why I'm not going to say any names. The problem is, they're using basically redwood, forest matter. They're getting it probably from sawmills all over, wherever. They're grinding it up, and they may be letting it sit for a while, but there's nothing in it. Now, for seedlings, it's perfect. But for growing big feeding vegetables, and lettuce is a vegetable that likes to be fed. It's a hungry plant. There isn't enough. They put these little gel capsules in there that have a little bit of plant food in there, but it's not going to sustain the plant to the end usually. Unless you have one plant in a big container, then it has everything for itself. Any weeds grow in there, they're going to pull it, because weeds pull everything. You know how weeds can grow anywhere where you can't even plant a plant? They come up. Well, that's why weeds are so great, because they can pull the nutrients, and this is why I pack the bottom of this dishpan with weeds. Brown ones, green ones, yellow ones, whatever I found around the yard at the time I am doing this, this is how I plant. Those weeds have everything your plant is going to need, and it works fantastic, and it's free. And if you don't have any weeds, you go to a neighbor's, go somewhere, and as long as they're not spraying anything that's toxic, you know what I mean, to weed killer, those weeds have everything your plants are going to want. The potting mixes we are buying right now have very little natural plant nutrition in them. In most of them, not all of them, but most of the potting mixes. If you look at it, I can see the difference from them now from 5 years ago. Used to be full of perlite and vermiculite, and it just looked different. It smelled good. It smelled like earth. It doesn't anymore. And sometimes when you get them, they're really dry because they're measuring it now, not by weight, but by measurement. So you're getting a dry potting mix. And the best thing to do with those is just open up the bag, get your hose or whatever, put some water in there, roll it back and let it sit for a couple days so it will reabsorb like a sponge. But again, it doesn't have a lot of plant food in it. And if you're not going to make compost tea or feed your plant and just use it straight, you may not end up with what you want. I'm telling you here, the way I've been planting with my totes and dishpans, whatever way I'm planting, by loading it up with leaves from plants and trees, whether I picked it and raked it off the ground, picked it up, or raked it, or went around pulling weeds. You can chop them up. It's better if you chop them up a little bit. I pack them on the bottom, and then I put whatever soil on the top. So the plants start off on the top soil, but they end up, their roots go through the cups, and their roots go into the bottom of the dishpan. That's your plant food. That's exactly how nature does it. The plants, they feed close to the surface when they're planted in the ground. They may send out tap roots for water, but the food is very much towards the top. We're not planting real deep. no matter what you use, even a tote, when you load it up, it starts to decay and break down right away. Whether you got earthworms in there or just microbes coming from the earth itself, throwing soil in that you picked up on the ground, it's breaking it down and it will feed the plants. So this is why I do it this way. Now, these are the lettuce, and in a few days, they started getting really big, and I procrastinated a lot, and I didn't want to do it too much longer because look how big they got in about 3 or 4 days since you saw them. So I decided here just to take the largest or the best looking ones, and I'll get to the other ones if I do, when I do. I'm going to put in here 2 iceberg lettuce per container. So there's 4 containers in here, and I'm not sticking any around the base. I want the base, the bottom part of the dishpan, to just remain soil and weeds. And a lot of the soil that is in here right now, it's just came out of other totes. I just collected it from all over different totes that nothing was growing, and that's what I'm using. Now, this isn't going to work because, first of all, this little dishpan is only 8 quarts. If I would have used the black one, maybe I could leave the 8 lettuce. But when it's 8 quarts, and they're going to be fighting later for nutrients and space, because plants can get root bound, and that can be the same problem. You may be feeding them, but if they're root bound, they keep putting out new roots to bring up nutrition for themselves. They may not be able to develop enough roots to pull up nutrition. But this is how I'm going to do this one. Now, I haven't done iceberg lettuce in years. I don't even really, I feel embarrassed almost to show the seeds. But I found my old packet that I planted back in 1976. This is not them. I planted iceberg lettuce that long ago, and I kept the seeds. I found them in a box put away. Have I tried to grow them? No, I don't think they're going to grow. My mother must have bought them when I was in the womb. And so they were planted for me as I was born. Let's just say that, okay? Oh my gosh. Because it's like, wow, those seeds are 50 years old. I've got other seeds too from the 80s. So it's just amazing how old these seeds can be. I haven't even planted the ones from the 80s. But going back to the lettuce, I'm just kind of making sure they're all nice and straight, and I'm going to do the best I can. Hopefully I didn't put any of them into shock. I put the other ones back in the pot, but there they are. And now I'm going to use some plastic flowers, fake artificial plants, and this is for shade, and this makes a world of difference. I'm going to put it all over, and to be honest, you couldn't put too many, because as long as you're going to put them out in the sun, and there they are, they'll get enough sunlight through the fake plants, and there they are. Later on, they never even went into shock. Here are the seeds. No, I have not even tried them. I couldn't believe when I found them recently. Look, the bag is leaking a little, but 1976. I just want to make sure I'm not going to forget when I plant them. And I'm only going to plant a few. The whole package is almost full. But this is unbelievable that I would actually have this in one of my drawers. Unbelievable. But there they are in the evening. Nothing wilted. Everything looks good. And it is amazing how we can grow these things. But we can't leave them this way. And there they are. A matter of about 5 days later. Look how big they're getting. But we have to fix this, because if I leave it this way, I may have a little salad, and I want to make sure that I have more than a little salad, that they develop a head. At least try. So now you know how we got here. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, I'll take you in closer, is I'm going to remove the plastic flowers, because I have to do this very carefully. Very carefully. Oh, yeah, I don't want to tear my lettuce. I didn't realize it was going to get this big this fast. We've got one off. If I tear it, it's no big deal. But I want to get this off, and we'll put this back afterwards. Because it is important that you see what I'm doing, and I think this is going to work. Okay. If you really want me to try to grow those other seeds, let me know. So we're going to take all the plastic flowers out, but we're going to put it back. Now I want to make sure, I'm going to put my glasses on. They're like 100s, but I want to make sure that there is no weeds growing in between, and there are. So we want to take those out, because we don't want anything, not even the teeniest ones, to take away from the plant itself. because we want these to grow. So I'm taking everything on this. I wear glasses when I'm working with tiny seedlings. Oh, here's purslane. And though we could eat that, I'll just put that in there. And there's some more purslane here. Okay, I think we've got all the weeds. Now let me get you in here because I'm going to go with the strongest. Oh, I tore this. Oh, wow. It tastes like butter lettuce. Anyways, I want you to see what I'm going to do. It's going to be quite radical, but by doing it this way, I'm pretty sure I should get a little bit of a head. I don't know how long it's going to take to form a head. It's like growing a cabbage, but I want to make sure that I get 4 good ones in here. And then from there, I can mix and match. Oh, you don't need this. I can mix and match as I'm planting, or not just planting, but as I'm making my salads, because I can take my romaine, mix it in with my iceberg lettuce. And boy, these are good just the way they are. I mean, to be honest, I haven't eaten it till just now with you. And I would be fine just growing this and eating it with the iceberg lettuce because it does taste really good. Let me get you really close so you can watch exactly what I'm going to do. And nothing is going to go wasted on this. Okay, here we go. Now the thing is, if I tried to, there's 2 in each one. This is how I planted them. If I try to pull it out and save the plant, at that point, I could lose them both. So we're going to go through and we're going to decide, like, we have 2 here. We have this one growing that's quite small, and then this one growing that's quite big. We're going to take, even though it's in the middle, I'm going to go ahead and take it all the way down. Look at that. Now this is still perfectly fine for salad. So we're going to make salad out of that. Now we're going to go in here. Oh, this is a little more difficult. Look how beautiful both of these are. It really doesn't matter on this. So now let's see. We've got, boy, beautiful growth. It's a shame to do it, but I'm going to keep this one and I'm going to go down. It really doesn't matter on this one. Look at that. I'm going to put it in some nice cold water and then tonight cut it up. This is really going to help when they go to, you know, start to form a head. Now we've got this one that looks quite big, and this one. Again, they both look so good. It's just a shame that we do have to sacrifice it. But look at this. Do you realize that I'm going to have enough for a salad? Okay, so we've got this one, and then this is the last one. I think we're going to save that one. I'm going to go deep down inside, cut it at the root. Now I'll tell you, if I wanted to on this one still has some roots, I could chop the whole thing down and try to see if I can get this to rejuvenate. Is it worth it? I don't know. I don't even know if I'll do it. If I do, I'll let you know. Now I've got 4 lettuce going. This is fantastic. They could use some compost tea, and I'll go make that. And now I'm going to put back all the flowers because this is how it's been growing, and that's why it grew so beautiful. It's going to go back into the dog kennel, and we're done. And now we're going to wait and see if we can get a little head to form inside. And this has just been great. And like I said, even if it doesn't really matter because it's going to be great just the way it is. But I would like to see if I can get some small organic iceberg lettuce growing. And I think that's it. Back into the dog kennel it goes. I think it's got enough shade. I could put one in the middle if I want. And now it can grow through that, and that's it. So I hope I'm giving you tips and ideas on how to grow lettuce really next to free. You saw how I set this up in a small dish pan, though I think next time I'm going to use a black one and go bigger just to give the roots a little more room. I now have enough to put together a small salad, plus I'm going to add in some romaine lettuce, tomatoes, cucumber, peppers, whatever I've got, even some brassicas chopped up. Boy, talk about healthy, and it tastes great. And now I make my own mayonnaise. So tell me if you're going to try iceberg lettuce. This is going to be new to me. I haven't done it in more years than I want to say, back in the 70s. And I think it's going to be worth it. It's fun. And no matter what, there's nothing to lose because even at this stage, we can eat it. And that's the wonderful thing about lettuce. You can eat it from the moment it shoots out of the ground to any stage you want. Just don't wait till it's dead or brown. Otherwise, it is good to go. So with that, have a wonderful day. Don't forget to eat what you grow. And I'm going to read your comments because so many of you said, what about iceberg lettuce? And I thought, gee, I haven't done it for years. Why not? So here we are. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Oh, this is cool. Well, it's quite hot. I better get this back in the dog kennel. Okay, let's get you back in your favorite spot. Away from the cabbage moth butterflies. All right, there you are. Cool. Let's make sure you got your shade. You are gorgeous. And we've even got these up here. Oh, look how beautiful the shade is. Cool. All right, let's close this up. That's one thing this is really good. It really keeps the cabbage moth butterflies away. Though, I've got my workers. They're keeping the insects away. So I ended up bringing it in. I got a plain old paper cup, put a hole on the bottom. We need drainage, and I just got some potting mix. I figured it has a little bit of roots there, which means it may want to grow. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just adding in more water, is I'm going to stick it in there, but we're going to have to remove a lot of the leaves. Now, if I took it just like this and put it in, it would just wilt and die. It will not grow. But if we remove almost all the leaves, which I'm going to use for salad anyways, I'm going to add in some romaine lettuce and a lot more stuff. But I'm thinking we may be able to get a few more leaves out of it. Is it worth the effort and all this trouble with all the lettuce I'm growing? No. But I figured somebody's going to say, but I wanted to see what you were going to do with it. What if I had it? What if I wanted to plant it? Well, now you know what you can do. It's got a little bit of roots. We're going to shove it under the soil. But the most important thing is it needs to develop roots to bring up not just water, but nutrients as well. So for now in the paper cup, it will be fine. You're going to push it all the way around to make sure. I'm going to fix it up a little bit better. I want to make sure it's going to go deep in there. And it can develop a little bit more roots on the side of the stalk. A little, not too many. But we want to make sure that the roots get a really good contact with the soil. Otherwise, it will just basically dry up. Then you want to put it somewhere that's kind of got shade right now. And I'm going to stick it on the kitchen window. And I got a cap. Now, why did I use a food cap like I always do? Because it's going to help retain water. So we're going to stick it on the window. We're going to put a cap or anything underneath there. And when I water it, it's going to dribble through and it's going to sit on the cap. And the cap will keep it moist for at least a few days while it develops more roots. And there it is. That's all you need to do. Now, we'll see. Maybe it will go outside. Maybe I will get a big lettuce head out of it or at least some more leaves. It's fantastic. But this is how I do it. Isn't that beautiful with all the hummingbirds? It's really simple. So I hope I'm giving you tips and ideas.